Right.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the J World Family live stream. Also, with my friend TJ over here for
To the nerd and back. We are back. Bye bye. And we are beyond happy for
yeah.
it.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute. Been since the holidays. We haven't done one since Christmas
Since
or
yeah,
right after because we did the movies
we
for the
did our
holidays.
yes, we did our favorite Christmas movies, which
Yeah,
was
that was a lot of fun. That was a good one.
oh yeah.
So you're probably wondering, what are we doing tonight? Let me. Oh God, knocking things over.
I
Um,
do it all the time.
So you're probably wondering what we're doing tonight on to the Nerd and Back and to the J World Family YouTube channel. We're coming back with two things tonight. The second thing will be very quick towards the end, but the big thing tonight is we thought it'd be really cool to talk about and name some of our favorite movie trilogies and movie franchises of greatest of all time. What we think, in our opinion, are the
Oh yeah.
greatest of all time.
Oh yeah. These are the goats right
Yes.
here.
Well,
Yes.
in our eyes, there could be some different to you guys. There might be definitely probably gonna be differences between me and him. And then at the end, we're gonna do a real quick because I have not talked to you guys on the J World family because it's theme park season is literally weeks away. We're gonna give up some updates real quick on Six Flags when the parks are gonna start opening here in the Northeast. Also, the new annual pass prices because they changed them again on how many versions there are. And it looks like they might have lowered the price just a little bit, but they also tweaked them a little bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, and also some Six Flags. I'm not going to go over that tonight, but there are Six Flags across the country that also got some new rides. One place got a really cool coaster called Aquaman. This is a coaster I would love to see come to Great Escape or New England. New England has enough coasters. Great Escape deserves it. This is supposed to be a perfect coaster for Great Escape, but we'll get into that towards the end. So let's get on with it. Best trilogies and greatest franchises of all time. Because guess what's coming out really soon? This is why we kind of triggered to do this. A new franchise that has been killing it, and the fourth chapter is about to come out, and that's John
John
Wick
Wick 4.
Chapter 4. So that's what kind of triggered this choice to do this because
Same.
that right now, I mean, it's a trilogy, but it's about to become a franchise. That's probably on my greatest list now. It's on my greatest hits
Yeah.
list now.
Well, absolutely. Let's start with John Wick.
Yeah, we
I
might as well.
mean, it's one of our favorites. We can make arguments for greatest of all time, which will
Yeah,
be fun to do. So this will be a good start.
yeah.
Very quickly though, I do want to address uh,
Oh, right.
the
Yeah.
elephant in the room. As many of you folks are probably seeing, if you haven't seen any of my posts of recent already, I have a broken wing, and I'm getting better. I had my surgery this past Monday. I am on the mend, and I promise you, thanks to the amazing folks over at Glens Falls Hospital who were very attentive, and they were there for for this. Uh, Thankfully, I will be back at full tilt for Grayscape Entertainment this summer, this 2023 season. So, if you do end up through either our awesome YouTube stream right now or my normal To the Nerd and Back on Facebook, uh, your well wishes, I will read them on screen, and I do appreciate them. Let's talk John Wick.
Yes, let's talk John Wick.
So I will I will break the unintended. Got it. It's gonna be hard to not say anything break right now and not
Yeah.
like laugh because of the irony. Um, I will break the ice, but I started. I finally was able to watch the trilogy
Okay.
as it was a trilogy at the time.
At the moment, in about a
At the
couple weeks,
moment,
it will not be.
no, because of this injury. Um, Kim Walker says, "What's up?
What's up,
What's up?"
Kim?
Um, I watched it because of this injury. Because I was taken out of action for at least minimum of a month.
Okay, so was
So
this the first time you watched this trilogy?
yes,
Wow.
yes,
Wow.
yes,
So this,
yeah,
wow. So recently was the first time
yeah,
you watched the entire,
for sure.
wow, you were behind there, TJ.
Uh, I was, but
You,
keep in mind too. I mean, it's you'll
yeah, most definitely.
you'll vouch for Heidi will vouch for my entertainment schedule.
Yes. Life gets busy.
Oh, and it did. Between my Elvis tribute, Great Escape stuff, it was chaotic. And it was never that I didn't want to watch the trilogy. Because I bought it. I just didn't have the time. So this was perfect excuse, perfect reason. And I am beyond glad I did.
Hmm.
Um, I was very impressed, and there's a lot that makes this series. I may get some flack for this. Better than The Matrix.
Ooh.
I will get flack for
Ooh.
this.
Ooh.
I will take the flack
Wow.
for this, but better than The
Wow.
Matrix
That's, ooh.
for reasons. Like,
Ooh. Okay.
this could have easily been just a one-off, senseless, action
Oh yeah.
movie,
It definitely could have been a one-off.
and it could have been just a reason to typecast Keanu in a martial arts, you know, wreck-ass movie, which at this point, Hollywood has been known to do before with other
Hmm.
actors. So this could have easily said, we're out. But what started getting me was the emotional resonance that did come from
Hmm.
this because Keanu's playing this guy who chose to get out.
Yep.
But he chose to get out because of a woman. He had love. He had this, he had this. He did this impossible task and he was out. And his wife in one of her
Yep.
last acts gives
The
him
dog.
a dog. And that to him was hope. It was it was another step in the chance.
Hmm.
And then
And they built a story around a dog getting killed and a car getting stolen.
and it still
And it made you feel it.
somehow
And felt it.
right in the
One,
gut.
because they know people love dogs. So right there, you kill a dog, we're gonna kill. Yeah, but to know that that first movie was based off of literally, if you just go off the premise, take the wife out of the, just take the wife out of the thing. He literally got back into life because the dude killed the dog, killed the, took the car, but the dog represented, like you
Yeah,
said, closure for his wife, so he could mourn not alone, as he tells the guy towards the end of the movie.
yeah.
This was my chance to grieve not alone, but you took that from me, so now I'm going to take your son from you. Yeah, it was a perfect story. And
And
it started off the way they did. Like, we don't know anything about the life. We don't know anything about all these things, the gold coins, all the life, all these assassins are in and everything else like that. The Continental, like, we don't know what any of that means, but this all in this movie.
and that's perfect because when they made the decision to keep doing these other
Yep.
chapters, and I kind of said this very briefly on my TikTok because I do these like five, like brief, maybe 30-second like review
Yep.
slideshows. Each movie deepened the mythology.
Oh yeah.
But this first one, if this didn't work,
Yep. They could have walked
it,
away.
it could have gone. Yeah, and keep in mind, full disclaimer, there will be adult language use. So if you're a kid and you're watching this, this is probably your time to turn away.
Yeah.
It could have gone tits up,
Hmm.
and it could have tanked so bad, and yet the surrounding characters in the first movie helped do their job to introduce a mythology.
Hmm.
And these next films expand and enrich the mythology. So the like chapter two and then Parabellum, their
Oh,
jobs were
Parabellum
to
was a
oh
it,
yeah,
The third movie got even more in depth. You learned more. The tattoo on his back. Now you know
Mhm.
what that is. And now this next movie, which is supposed to be the longest movie,
Yeah.
like they said over 3 hours long, which I'm like, go right ahead because I'm all for it. You can keep me in there for 4 hours for
I'm
this movie because
that's
I have
totally
each movie has gotten better.
yeah.
And that's what's hard when you're making a franchise or a trilogy. As we talk about different movies, tri- trilogies don't always get better. Sometimes, okay, the first one was great, the second one was okay, still good, and then the third one just, or in franchise, it's just like okay, three are good, but then all of a sudden the franchise starts just just tanking. And what I love about these, they have gotten better each time because, as you just said, they're giving us more information about the background. They're giving us more
Exactly.
of what, okay, where did he
That
come
yeah.
from? What is all this? What are these gold coins important? What are these gold coins? How is one coin paid for like a week's stay at a hotel and pay for this and pay for that? And all
Yeah.
these people that are all over the place.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for this fourth one. And I know from an interview with Keanu Reeves way, way back before this movie was even made, he said he will keep doing these movies as long as fans love them and want them. And at this point, this is how I look at a franchise. Okay. Once you get past the trilogy, you can't stop at four. You can't stop at five. Six is your next spot to stop. So there has to be at least two more movies after this. Because that's an awkward number to end on. 4 or 5 is just awkward. It's you got to end on six.
I agree. The thing is, with this trailer for 4, they're hyping it to be his last ditch attempt to both clear his name and get out.
Well, you got to wonder what they might do. There might be a huge
So
twist at the end.
exactly, if we go by your uh, e- excellent theory and suggestion on the 5 and 6,
Mm-hmm.
they will have to have his quest succeed, but yet still fail,
Yeah.
and they'll have to do that in a way that really puts the next the end game of the fifth and sixth
Right.
parts into that motion.
I mean, I wouldn't want them to do a fifth or sixth one if they really don't have a good script. If they don't have a good story, then don't do it to ruin what you've
Yeah,
made. I just my point of view on it is if you're gonna make a franchise goes to six. That's just my personal preference. So the number, you know how the number game numbers represent something. So when you look at four, you're like, it's awkward. It's an awkward ending. So I could maybe see him ending on five. I could maybe go with five. But I would like to see, depending on how this one goes, which I think this one will probably blow all the other
oh,
three out of the water. Um,
touche.
and what I love, mad respect. Keanu Reeves has always had my massive respect because of videos that have popped up about him. Because he's never told anybody about anything that he does. He's very, very quiet. Learning the history about when he made the Matrix movies, the
Yes.
tragedy in his life at that time,
Yep.
and what he did for the cast and crew, taking his own check and giving his check away to all the people that work behind the scenes to pay them more money. Like
Yeah.
the stuff he's done on trains. He doesn't ask for a car to pick him up when he goes to movie sets. He takes the train in the city. He's very, he's just a very down to earth person. That's why I love him. And I will agree with you. Do I think the John Wick movies are better than The Matrix? Yes. Do I think the Matrix movies are still one of the greatest of all time? Yes. Do I think the
Yes.
Matrix made a mistake? Third movie could have been better. The third movie kind of
Oh,
like did
yeah.
a like the first movie was really good. Second movie was really good. Third movie was good, but it didn't top, and forget the one that they tried to bring out like a year or two ago. That just I couldn't even get past like 30 minutes of that. So that Matrix movie they did the thing. No,
Oh, Resurrections?
yeah, that's dead to me. I won't even. I tried to
Wow.
watch 25 minutes of that and I walked away more confused than I did when I watched the original one.
Okay, see, that's fair.
Like I'm sitting there going,
And I
"What the?
enjoy I enjoy Resurrections, but I that's totally fair.
I hate it." No, I that's did not even exist to me that movie. But so yes, I will say this. Maybe not. I won't put John Wick at the top, my greatest of all time, like like the number one. It's on my greatest list of all time. It's on the list. It's at least probably in the top 10, probably my top 10. But for action films, hands down, it's my number one.
Solid.
Hands down, it's my number one.
Kim Walker, just because we got on this
But
tangent.
yeah, okay,
Absolutely.
we'll move on.
We will absolutely. By the way, we will touch on these two throughout this. There's no way we're not. Um, she says her two favorite trilogies are Back to the Future
Mhm.
and Lord of the Rings.
2 amazing
Yes, and we
trilogies.
will absolutely touch on those, so do not go anywhere,
Yep.
Kim. We will be touching on these in a second.
Hello, Jennifer Falcon. Thank you for joining the J-Ro family and to the
Yes.
Nerd and Back. So now we're gonna move on from John Wick being one of our top favorites. I don't know where you would put in your top 20, top 30. I have no idea.
It's definitely top 10.
Top 10? Okay, so it's in
It's
my
definitely
top
top
10.
10, just because of the fact of, like we touched on, it and, this is where I wanted to and I can say this, very quickly because it's like a one sentence thing. The thing about The Matrix that puts it below John Wick for me
Mhm.
is The Matrix tried to expand and deepen their mythology, but what they ended up doing was deepening a philosophy, which is still good,
Yeah.
but it was their attempt kind of was maybe waylaid by something probably like more profound. Whereas mythology is a story, philosophy was like a deeper.
I almost think with The Matrix, they should have made more movies. They shouldn't have rushed it to 3 movies for
Agreed.
them to go to that
Yeah.
final battle where he had to go to the machine, the machine city and fight
Yeah.
fight Johnson. That should have honestly, that could have been 6 films easily
Yeah.
because they needed to explain more about the machines and all that stuff. They should have gone like backstory a little bit, and there that movie could have been because I think that's the other reason why, as we all know, you watch that trilogy, it's still confusing. There's a lot that confuses you when you sit there. Yes, you can tie. Now that movie got tied into a lot of spiritual
It did, very much so.
characterizations, which when
Yep.
you watch it, most definitely you can point out, okay, where the religious portion of it is, who's who, and that's fine. I
Well,
think that's really cool.
yeah, I was
I
gonna
think it
say,
was a cool concept.
there's no way you can't say that Neo is Jesus.
Oh yeah,
Neo is Jesus.
Savior. Uh,
Like,
Basically, the Matrix is what we're living now, and heaven is supposed to be, Zion, and hell is supposed to be Machine City.
correct. Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah, I mean
And
that's
the subway station was purgatory.
purgatory. Yeah, train station's purgatory. So that is not a franchise trilogy because the resurrection doesn't count. I mean, that's dead to me. Um, that was a trilogy. It's still my. I would put the Matrix in my greatest of all time, probably my top 20.
That agreed.
Top 20
Yes, agreed.
in my action flicks. I would still put in my action. It's in my top 10.
Yeah.
Matrix would be in my
Okay,
top
yeah,
10.
Matrix for action flicks, because even on that one, I would say you would have to at least acknowledge that Resurrections, for all of its massive faults,
Yeah.
the action was not one of them.
Yeah, I didn't even get into I told you I didn't get that
Because,
far into the movie. I got like 25 minutes in the movie and I stopped watching.
because I did watch some of the behind the scenes, but I did watch the whole movie, and I will say, action-wise, Keanu, Carrie Ann did not miss a step.
That's
It was more of the emotional
mhm,
than the story allowed it to be.
gotcha.
So we will but yes, I agree with you. It's definitely in the top 10 for action
Mhm.
films, but for franchises, I will absolutely put that in my 20.
Now, just a reminder, we're not gonna get into every single franchise
No.
trilogy. Like, we might have to do a quick little honorable mentions that we probably will still miss movies. We're gonna mention some of our big ones. Now, a quick one, real quick, not gonna say much about it, but I'm gonna throw it in there. It's not a trilogy yet, but it will be because they did announce they are writing the script for it because it's another one that kind of came out the same time as John Wick, The Equalizer with
Ooh,
Denzel.
Denzel, yes.
So
Yes.
far, 2 movies, and I've been begging for a third, and they're writing the script, so it's coming. That's probably going to be my top 5, probably top 5 because in action movies, and it'll be in probably my top 20 for all time, trilogies. Because Equalizer, hands down, good storytelling, good act. Denzel whoops some ass. That's
Oh,
all I'm going to say is
Denzel,
Denzel
yeah.
whips some
All you
ass.
have to do is say Denzel, and you pretty much had it.
So that was a quick honorable mention right there because even though it's not a trilogy, but it will be. So I guess maybe since Kim did mention these are both kind of comedies, action, dramas. So I think we should go. These are 2 big ones.
Let's
We
start with
should go.
Back to the Future.
Hmm,
Honestly, let's start with that because
I wore this today because it's going to get brought up.
I'm a solid fan of every actor in that series.
Yes.
And I will fight to the death to say that there was not a single rotten movie in that trilogy.
No.
I think
The third
that
one, they're all great.
yeah,
I think the third one kind of stayed here, where the other two did this. That one kind of just it was good, but it didn't do better than the other two. It didn't like to me. It didn't.
I don't think it needed to though.
It was just fun being in the old west. I love old west movies. So
I mean, the crazy thing is, normally I'm with you. I would like the third, like the end to the series to
Mhm.
probably be the over the top, end game.
Yeah,
But for Back to the Future, I will put forth the argument they didn't need to, because what you were looking at throughout the course
right.
was the family type relationship that built between Doc and Marty,
Yes.
and the respect and the the use of the time travel to build stakes that would allow this relationship to grow. So I think with it being with number three doing what I kind of like anticipated it was going to do anyway, it was a more necessary end to a relationship
Yeah,
trilogy.
and it was a good ending. It was beautiful and a
So
good lesson learned in that last little scene between the two of them. What he said about it's your future is what you make it. It's not even written yet.
exactly.
Um, I can watch those movies over and over, and of course, the first one is the first one is always supposed to be the classic. It is the first one is the classic. First one is always, but in that it's funny in that trilogy to me, the first movie and the second movie are the classics.
Oh, agreed.
The third one's great. Don't get me wrong, third one's good. Like you said, it didn't over CC, and that's okay. And I agree with you on that sense. It didn't need to, but it's funny how a movie usually even in a franchise or a trilogy, it's always the first one that is the classic. And that one, the first one and the second one to me are both the classics because they both were the way they were written, um, the way they're portrayed. Especially, let's go to the second one real quick. It jumps to 2015. Remember when 2015 actually came about for all of us, some years back, and everybody was like, "Okay, what actually from that movie
Yeah,
exists in
Kimmel
a lot?"
Kimmel did a whole skit bringing back like Christopher Lloyd and Michael
Yeah, it's
just to do
so,
yeah,
but a lot did come
yeah.
true, in an aspect, and then they were literally 1 year off with the Cubs winning the World
They
Series.
were
How
it
do you
was
do
so
that?
close.
And they were in the playoffs in 2015. They just didn't get to the World Series. But then in 2016, the Cubs go to the playoffs, go to the World Series and win.
Really quickly, and I know who she is, Narissa Vaughn, but she on Twitch she goes by yeah, Toto.
So,
How you doing? Thank you for tuning into the vidcast. Now Back to the Future because there's no way. Like I love this discussion right now.
yeah.
I agree with you full force that the first two will always be the epic
Oh
classic.
yeah.
Because of how I people always say dark, and I just don't. Dark can be too convenient. More adult emotional.
Yeah.
Those two stories got. I don't want to say dark because it's like dark is always used kind of in the same vein as camp, but in more like dramatic terms. And I appreciate emotional stakes and resonance, and even roles like Biff
Yep.
still had something to contribute in that case. And yes, he was a villain. Like you'll never see Biff Tannen and not say villain, but Zemeckis with this whole trilogy was able to humanize that villain,
Yeah.
and in a way that by all by all purposes, nobody wanted his ass to win,
Mm-mm.
but you almost could get, in a way, why Biff did what he did, because there was the essence of the jealousy between him and, you know, uh, Marty's dad,
Yep.
you know,
George.
George, thank you, George McFly. There was that, and that was kind of the catalyst for everything else. So it's like, what those 2 managed to do made it easier for the 3rd to give me that argument to
Hmm.
say, "Let's let the emotional ending to this trilogy be not just a happy ending, but make you think." With that line about, the future not being written, but make it a good one and make it yours.
Hmm.
Like, that and it wasn't you could not technically consider Back to the Future an action film. Like, there were stunts and there were, you know, gags and whatnot, kind of, like, similar to, like, another
It was more of like a
another
drama comedy.
yeah, like, it was definitely a very well done dramedy.
Hmm.
Um, there was some action and stunts, but it wasn't, like, martial arts,
Yeah, no, no, no.
like,
It had some action, but
yeah,
it's not considered an
yeah,
action film.
exactly.
No, I would and you know, it is probably one of my top trilogies of all time. I've watched that trilogy. I can't even remember now how many times I've watched those movies. I have, as you can see, I bought the hat when I went back to Universal Studios in Orlando
Yes.
back in 21. I made sure I got the hat. I even bought a shirt. I'm a huge Back to the Future fan. So it's funny, like in my top list, it's hard because I've never announced what my top one is, but Back to the Future would probably be one of the ones gunning for number one on my list.
It's in my top 5.
Definitely in my top five, and it might be gunning into the top three. Because I've never really, but it's sitting here, I know it's my top favorite trilogies of all time.
Mm.
So there you go, Back to the Future classic. If you've never seen it, go watch it. If you haven't seen it, what is with you? It's
Yeah, I was
classic.
gonna say,
God,
yeah, and
go check it out.
I don't know if they've released it on 4K yet. If they have, I want it, but I do have it is available on Blu-ray,
Hmm.
and, cool side note is that they've like, on regular DVD, but they've also released the animated series
That's right. I remember the animated series. What
that Christopher
and the
Lloyd
old
did
video
the
game.
live action Doc Brown intros for, which was cool. And I think he actually voiced Doc for
I
that
think so. He
series.
did.
Um, so you have no excuse now. Find it, watch it.
Now, moving on from Back to the Future, another great trilogy, but it's also a franchise because they made the prequel movies, and that's the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yes.
Now, I never read the books. I never watched the original cartoon movie because there was animated cartoon movies back from like the 80s,
Yes. The
70s,
the
80s.
first Hobbit was around the late 70s. Ralph Bakshi's Lord of the Rings, which combined Fellowship and Two Towers,
Mm-hmm.
was early 80s. And then Return of the King, which went back to Rankin Bass, um, was mid 80s. Like I thought like maybe 84 or 85.
Okay.
So yeah, so it started off in like the mid to late 70s, capped off in the mid 80s.
Now I'll say this: like I said, I never read the books. I never saw the cartoons. I maybe saw The Hobbit because my brother-in-law has them, and he was a big fan of them when he grew up. Um, so I got introduced to Lord of the Rings because of the movies and because of my brother-in-law. And I became an instant fan of the trilogy. Now I will say this: the Hobbit trilogy, I need to go back and watch. I never actually got into the other two. The Hobbit, the first movie, I got bored because
It's not hard.
I couldn't fall in love with the character. When you watch a movie, you're trying to like grasp onto like you grasp onto characters, right? You start grabbing onto what characters are your favorite.
Mhm.
I literally watched that movie and I was like, I don't feel attached. I'm
No,
not getting
definitely not.
attached to anybody. So when they brought up the next two, I was like, I want to go watch them.
Yeah.
Tried it now that I'm like But that's the problem. I'm going to say this before we get into the, fully talk about the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I realize now it is very difficult, and I'm never going to ask ever again. Maybe on certain movies they do okay with doing it, but honestly, can you please just do the prequels before you make the movie that leads up to that, please? Why make a whole trilogy and now go back and tell us the goddamn story that happened before then when you already had those stories made? For Christ's sakes, don't do that. Like, I've realized more people that have done that, more directors, more movie writers that have done that. It really, you don't get the same reaction. Because I know we're going to bring it up later. Harry Potter is another good example. The Harry Potter franchise, phenomenal. But then you have the new trilogy, and again, fantastic. I started the first one I couldn't get through. I tried to sit and watch the second one, and I'm just, eh,
Okay. And well done, good sir.
So, Lord of the Rings trilogy, amazing. I was in love with it. 90% of the characters, even some of the bad guys, I loved a lot of the bad guys, a lot of the villains in the movie. Yeah. Phenomenal. Action scenes, phenomenal. The story, I watched all the extended ones. Me and my brother did a marathon. It takes 12 hours to watch all three.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to be up at 8 in the morning, and it doesn't end until very late at night. We made it. We had to finish the last bit of the third one in the morning, the following morning, because we were too tired. But if they would have brought those extended versions out to theaters, which they should have in the first place, because all the scenes that they put in those extended versions when they brought them out to DVD were needed, because it really actually helped the story out even more. I think the scenes they cut out in the originals when they came out were, once I saw it, I was like, wow, these are scenes that really help explain some shit that happened, or it really tied a scene in, like a specific one in the Two Towers where they go to Lord. I'm gonna forget names because it's been a while since I watched movies. Saruman,
Yes. Christopher Lee, may rest in peace.
And the when they get there, there is a huge scene when they all arrive after the battle's been fought there, and that tower's fallen. And there's a lot of dialogue that takes place between a lot of different characters, which to me was needed. Because then you even see, is it what's the bad guy? Wormtongue?
Yes, Grimer Wormtongue.
He kills
Grimer Wormtongue. Yeah.
He kills Lord Saruman. He throws him off the top of the tower because he gets pissed off.
Literally stabs him in the back.
Stabs him and he falls. So it's like, you didn't have that in the actual original first movie. Like, you just saw him at the top, and he's looking down on all of them, and that's it. They cut off like a whole. So if you haven't seen the extended versions, go watch them because they tie so much in. Lord of the Rings trilogy is definitely in my top one, because there's so many trilogies. I would put in my top 20 of trilogies of all, trilogy / franchises of all time. In my actions, it's probably in my top 5. Top 5
for
hands down.
I was gonna say, for me, the legitimate Lord of the Rings trilogy, because I mean, technically, we can separate them into 2 trilogies: The Hobbit.
Oh yeah, they're definitely 2 separate trilogies.
And the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So thankfully we can legit separate them into their own trilogies.
Hobbit's not even in the top 20 for me.
Oh, I wasn't even gonna put that there anyway. But the Lord of the Rings trilogy is in my top 3 of all-time films.
Just regular all-time. Oh, trilogy / franchise. Okay.
Because of the fact that I am beyond grateful that within reason, Peter Jackson was beyond loyal to the source material.
Yes.
He wanted to make the Lord of the Rings we all should have seen from the get-go.
Yes.
The responsibility of being one of the first live action incarnations of this titanic book series, written by an author who was one of the most influential of all time. That's a heavy duty responsibility, and everything that could have been against him, like, easily could have just sent this thing into a setup for failure. But the ensemble cast, with like Elijah Wood, Sean Astin,
the cast was amazing.
Vigo. I mean,
they had the actors and actresses that you had basically, if you had an all-star baseball team of actors in a movie, that one was it.
Yeah,
You could
that was your World Series
that
team.
was your World Series team right there. Nobody would beat them. It was amazing, amazing cast. I think they cast the movie right. I don't have any bad that that trilogy. Like from the story was amazing.
Mhm.
It kept you engaged in the story. And if you can make a more movie over 4 hours long, and I'm willing to sit there to watch it, you've done your job.
Now, I can confirm for you both The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings trilogies are on 4K.
Yes.
Um, and it, like it really depends on if you're a completionist. If you want to keep a complete franchise, by all means, get both trilogies.
Go ahead.
I'm a completionist, so if I'm gonna have the Lord of the Rings trilogy,
Oh
I'm
boy.
gonna have The
Oh
Hobbit.
God. Uh,
I have to do it.
understand.
If
I get it. I'm with you there. I have to complete franchises and trilogies too.
um, so that's kind of yeah, that's one of those. It's like all in or nothing at all. But they are on 4K. These movies are done beautifully. The 4K is the combination of both the theatrical and the extended cuts. So you get the choices of watching them as we saw them in the theaters when they were immediately released and the extended. But I'm probably gonna take some flack for this, but I'm gonna say don't watch the theatrical. Watch the extended ones. Skip right to the extended because the backstories are vastly needed for these movies, and at the time, the extended cuts are revolutionary because now we are getting 3-hour movies,
Hmm.
that tell a story in, as best of one sitting as it should be, and not truncated to the point where you think pacing's gone out the window. What Peter Jackson did with New Line in negotiating the ability to go back, reshoot, and release this 4-hour cut of each film is beautiful.
Yeah.
And I very much appreciate it because I was chomping at the bit, and then the audio commentary from all the people, like vital people from cast to directors is insightful, and if I know people might not be heavy duty into commentary, I do suggest listen to the cast commentary because mostly they do tell some funny stories about like the antics on and off set. But there are some tracks done by the great Sir Ian McKellen, of course, who was Gandalf,
Hmm.
and also Christopher Lee before he passed away, on the insight of how Peter's love for Tolkien's work translated into their own love for Tolkien's work, and that helped make what we got for the Lord of the Rings trilogy beyond worth seeing,
Yep.
and definitely something to. So yes, get it and watch those. I will also say that every time.
Yes.
So for me, top three easy.
Top three.
Top
Well,
three,
that's awesome.
top three trilogies or sagas. Yep.
Well, I have a whole list here of a bunch of movies. One of the movies I guess I'll jump to. Again, we're gonna move fast on some ones. We'll just say, hey, yeah, they were good, whatever. But I'll because I just mentioned it, talking about the whole thing with mixed, franchising. Go back to prequels. One of the biggest franchises of all time, and that's Harry Potter.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you brought it up, we might as well
Might
just
as
go
well go
for
into
it.
it. I know there was a lot of people that were into the books. I think all the movies were great. Harry Potter's probably my top one or top two of all time, but I know where there was falters. Movie number five was one of them. I remember movie number five. I
Yeah,
never read the book, but talking with friends and stuff, like they said, number five, they really cut a lot out from the book. Plus, they kind of dwindled down. Now, the thing about it here was the biggest issue with that franchise. And again, it's one of the greatest to me. It's one of the greatest franchises of all time. Because it is. I can sit and watch those movies over and over and over. And of course, if you can get to the theme park down in Florida, around California, or overseas, Harry Potter Land,
Wizarding World.
Fucking sorry, I'm saying fuck. Sorry.
Oh, I already made
Freaking
the. Oh
phenomenal.
no, I already I
I
did the
already told him, yeah.
disclaimer earlier. So
Um, but where the movie where the movie suffered was okay. So Lord of the Rings made a movie and it came out every year.
correct.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yep.
Harry Potter was going to do this because they came out around the same time. They came out the same time as Lord of the Rings. When Harry Potter came out, Lord of the Rings 1 came out.
They
So they were
did.
going to do the same exact thing. They were going to make a movie come out every year. Harry Potter 1 came out. The next year, Harry Potter 2 came out. And of course, they had a major death um, that happened. Our gentleman that played
The original Dumbledore.
original Dumbledore,
Yep.
he passed away. So then that stalled the third movie from coming out, which then pushed it back a year. So it then came out an extra year later.
Mhm.
Well, then they kept that going. So now a movie came out every other year. It wasn't every year. And I think that's what kind of killed them because they decided to push the movie out instead of coming out every year. They made it come out every other, which one, the kids were getting a lot older. Of course, why wouldn't they? You're making a movie come out every 2 years.
They're going to
They're
age.
aging fast.
Yeah.
Um, I think that hurt them. Um, and you what almost happened during the midway through making the Harry Potter movies, you almost lost Hermione. Um, you almost lost Daniel Radcliffe playing Harry. They were going to leave the franchise
Yeah, they had
because they were thinking about really leaving. And I would tell you right now, if that would have happened, any one of the three of them, the three main
it,
actors, if you would have lost one of them,
you broke that
losing,
chemistry, it would have been done.
picking a new, because you did have that death, you did lose, the guy who played Dumbledore, rest in peace, great actor. Um, it actually worked out because I don't see that original actor being able to play Dumbledore the way that Dumbledore needed to play for the next set of movies.
Correct.
From the fourth movie on, that guy was so gentle and so sweet as a human being. It's like he was in real life. He was just a gentle. He played it on screen. He did really well as Dumbledore because in the first two movies, that's how Dumbledore is supposed to be, very sweet,
Correct.
very kind. But as we saw as the franchise went on, Dumbledore has become very hard. Very There's a lot of darkness.
He's
That guy would have not fit the role
yeah.
as the role. So I was okay with seeing that change. Yes, he was the main character. You had to get used to it at first. But if we would have lost Ron, Hermione, or Harry, the original actors, that franchise would have died completely.
Agreed.
Would have died completely.
You break that trilogy. You break that chemistry.
Would have died.
It's done. At
I
that point,
love
you've doomed your franchise.
I love the reunion they had. What was this past year? That was awesome.
Yes.
That special. Seeing them all come back, talking about how they all got casted, how it all worked out. Um, as everybody said, the seventh movie got split into two parts. First, of course, was Harry goes camping. Uh, Literally, Harry goes camping. And the worst thing was, let's break down the seventh movie, shall we? The first movie was camping the entire time. They found one Horcrux the entire movie. One. Part two happens, and they find every single one of them in a matter of 2 hours, almost 3 hours. They rushed making that. Should have been a three-part movie to me.
With as thick as the original book was, I absolutely agree.
And I know she rushed the books too because they were like, well, we got to make these movies. You got to write that last book. You got to write that last book. So I know she also rushed the book just so they had a script to go off. They had a thing to go off of to make a script. So I feel like some things got rushed, but that does not take away
Oh no, definitely not.
from the fact that it still was a home run franchise.
Yep, for sure.
That movie will live in infamy to the end time. And now there's talks of them making. They made a Broadway show many years ago in London.
Cursed Child. Yep.
Cursed Child. Now it's in New York, which I would love to go see it, but tickets for Broadway shows are absolutely ridiculous.
Insane. Yeah.
Well, now I've heard they're trying. They're gonna, and they're going to. The only way they're gonna make it is as long as they can get the three come back.
The original three have been approached. There's just been nothing confirmed as to
If they get the original three,
yeah.
I'm all for it because this movie is supposed to take place years later, which they had that quick ending at the end of the seventh one where they jumped ahead of time. You got Harry's son going on, which was cool. I think it was great. It really was cool, and I love the twist at the end of the movie during the art when we found out Professor Snape probably was Harry's dad.
Yeah,
Could have been.
could
We
have
don't
been.
know for sure, but there was that.
Oh yeah, and um, oh my
And
gosh,
his father was Harry's actual father was a bully. Hell.
yeah, but he was a bully who got bullied.
Hmm.
Like there's it kind of was gutsy for the fact that it showed the cycle.
So where do you put Harry on your list?
Oh
Not talking about Fantastic Beasts. That's its own
shit!
thing.
I was gonna say I consider Fantastic Beasts part of the franchise, just later added later on. But the essence of the Harry Potter, like the true books, I would put that. I would at least put it in the top 10. I
All
would
right, so it's
say
in your top
I
10.
would say
Okay.
probably like lower 5 through 10. Um, because there were other like other trilogies and sagas that were more impactful for
Yeah,
me.
that's
But
understandable.
as you said, that does not take like the Harry Potter 1 through Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2, like home run. But there were other franchises and trilogies that did hit more of a mark.
I think those, and that's the thing with that franchise from Harry Potter 1 to movie 7.1.2. 'Cause technically there's 8 movies in the franchise. Um, that series did kind of like an up and down. So to me, the first two, great. The third one, The Prisoner of Azkaban, I was kind of like here. Fourth one brought me back up.
Yes.
The fifth one dropped me down. And then from there, the six and seven just totally drove me back. Except Harry Goes Camping kind of did like a weird. I don't know. Harry's Go Camping is just Harry Goes Camping, But ever, but no, it definitely and to me, it's going to live in history forever. And it is. I love watching it. I can watch that franchise nonstop. Now there to continue some franchise that are coming out because they're actually releasing movies this year.
Yep. Yep.
I'm going to bring both of them up now. It's a well-known action movie, the Fast and Furious franchise,
I was gonna say the missus and I are
and the Transformers franchise.
we are gunning for Fast 10. We've been counting down big time for Fast
Okay.
10.
So which one would you like to start with? Transformers or would you like to start with the Fast and Furious franchise?
Let's You know what? Let's talk Fast and Furious
Okay.
franchise because I wouldn't mind if Heidi like at least chimed in on because she and I've gone to see a good chunk of them in the theaters lately.
Let me just say this right now. I love action films. I was a huge fan of Fast and Furious. I still am.
But
They should have stopped back on 5. 5 is where they should have stopped. 6 was good. Don't get me wrong. 6 and 7 were actually really good. I like the characters they brought in. Jason Statham.
yes,
Oh my God, what's her name? Oh my God, uh, famous blonde actress. Oh my God, I'm gonna blank. Thank you, Charlize Theron. Love her.
you're a rock star. As
Thank you.
my ice pack ain't icy no more.
I'll throw it to her. Um, two. Charlize Theron was a great villain. It still is a great villain because she's still in the series.
She's a
Twisted mother.
she's a twisted bitch.
And Jason Statham, of course, is action king. I'm sorry, Jason Statham is like you think of action. Jason Statham is like at the top of the list. And then what's the guy? What's the brother of Jason Statham in the movie? The actor. He was in the live action Beauty and the Beast. He played Gaston.
Owen Shaw.
Owen Shaw.
Owen Shaw, but
The
they
character Owen Shaw, but I forgot his name. Is the
um
actor
Luke Evans.
Luke Evans. Great
Yeah,
character.
yeah.
And why I wouldn't say it didn't need to stop 5 was 6 and 7 were good because they brought Lenny back
In a really unique way.
in a way, unique way. It was. I have to admit, they brought Lenny back in a unique way. Just Fast 9 was just absolutely horrendous. Just horrible. Okay, here's where I start with Fast and Furious franchise. Okay, you go from street racing, right? You go from all these street thugs, just street racers, right?
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, they become superheroes.
I love the fact though that in Fast, in F9, which is kind of interesting that one of your movies in your franchise is actually named after one of the buttons on a keyboard.
Right, F9.
um, I love the fact that they were meta, not only meta, but just self-deferential, and, they gave Tyrese the moment where he kinda says, "We should have been dead a million times over, and yet we've somehow done more and more crazier stuff and come out of it unscathed." I love the fact that they at least
They
had.
made the joke about it.
Yes.
Yes.
So they had enough like, self-deferential humor to kinda go, "Yeah, we get that one."
9 just what?
But
I don't know what they were thinking with movie 9. What? They went to outer 2 of them went to outer space? What were they thinking?
They're gonna start 10 where they're coming back from outer space.
The 2 of them? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there was only 2 of them that went. But then, no. 9. You're gonna jump the mountain? Yeah, I'm gonna jump. Hang on. And then jumps off the mountain. Lo and behold, the little string, the bridge collapses on the car, and they wrap around a mountain and then come. That is not physically. I get action films sometimes. They all do. All action films go above and beyond on what's can be actually happen. That is off the charts not happening. Okay? It's not like I'm watching a Marvel movie or a DC movie or super where you expect that to happen. But you're watching real life street racers jump off of mountains.
I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but I compare that moment to one that actually is in a franchise that will make my top 2,
Oh God.
and it's a moment from. By the way, I'm just gonna apologize in advance to anybody who's seen this moment, knows this moment, has, like, face palmed themselves literally, and I'm talking about the refrigerator moment in Indiana Jones
Oh my God,
and the
yes.
Kingdom of the
Oh yep.
Crystal Skull.
Yep. Where he hides it in and blow.
He survives a nuclear fucking
A refrigerator strong enough.
blast
Just so you know, a refrigerator strong enough to handle that.
in a fridge.
Yeah.
Now, that as soon as I saw his happy freaking ass, by the way, Harrison Ford, I love you. You are a god among men.
We're gonna get to it because that's another movie coming
Yes,
out very, very soon.
yes. Um, but that in once again, disclaimer: there will be adult language. This is not avoidable. If you are a child and you are watching this, I slightly apologize, but turn away now. He fucking gets launched, and he's doing barrel flips.
And the door doesn't even open on the fridge.
And he still comes out of that with his body intact and his spine not decimated into freaking chili.
But see, that movie, I could believe that because he does a lot of outrageous shit in that movie.
Inflatable raft and Temple. We'll get okay.
Okay, so
We're
we're moving off at Fast and
but
Furious, but we get an unbelievable moment
yeah.
in a movie.
So I can suspend disbelief, but that moment at the bridge where the bumper is attached to that rope and does
Mm-hmm.
a complete
Mm-hmm.
screw you to physics.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty certain both of us we kind of were we enjoyed it, but we were both thinking to ourselves, "No!" Like
There were too many moments in the night. Like I have to say, the ninth movie I've watched every single Fast and Furious movie. Movie 9 was the movie that like pissed me off. Out of all the things that have happened, all movie 9 was the movie that pissed me off and made me so angry. I was like, I will probably never watch movie 9 ever again.
there was only one redeeming factor for 9. Oh, 2. And that's a bare minimum I'll do for 9. They brought back Han,
Yes,
which was definitely needed.
I was happy Han was back, and then I know what you're about to say. Probably
There was justice for Han,
yes.
and I love Sun Kang. His Han got me from Tokyo Drift on to,
Yeah.
and I
What's,
give him mad credit.
what's the second moment?
John Cena.
Okay.
The casting of John Cena in that film
Yes.
was. I feel sorry for him because I think
He came in on a shitty movie.
they tried to do so much.
Yeah.
They tried to go over the top, over the top, over the top. They were trying to jump 50 sharks in the attempt to tell their story, which I mean, I'm sorry, but the Fonz did it best in Happy Days. We don't need people jumping.
A yeah,
We don't need people jumping the sharks.
a
But John Cena was a great addition.
no. John Cena definitely played, especially with the whole fallout with Dwayne Johnson, as we all know with the cast, and they're basically going to kill off that character. Like that character is no longer even exists in the franchise. Um,
He only exists in the Hobbs and Shaw. I don't even think. I don't know. I'm
that's not even part of the
not sure.
franchise. That's like its own movie.
Spinoff.
Yeah, spinoff. No, that kind of ties in what I thought you were going to say. The second thing was the one thing that was really cool in movie 9 for me was the telling of the story,
Oh, that story.
the backstory of actually seeing Vin Diesel's father. We've heard about in every movie what he did. You know, he took a lead pipe and beat the shit out of a guy for crashing his father and killing his father in a car crash
The
in a race.
action that got him in
So
jail to where he met Brian later.
so
Yeah.
seeing that
Yeah.
moment, that little backstory was actually really cool.
Yes.
We then learned he did have a brother, and that tied in the bringing in John Cena. So
Heidi, I want you to
yeah,
just
anything you
really
want to
quickly.
chime in?
I think you responded really good to the backstory with Dom that led up to him going to jail. Like you, when you were and I were watching that, you kind of were really into it. Like, well, I have to step away from the camera for just a quick second. Um, what were your thoughts? Like, what did you like about that? Because I know there was at least a few things that you liked about that.
It just brought it all together, but
Hmm.
there wasn't anything really special.
Just right. Okay. I'll say this. So as we all know, that franchise, the first movie, of course, is the classic. Vin Diesel then walked away. There was a disagreement. I think it was money or whatever it was at the time. He walked away, but Paul Walker stayed. They did Too Fast, Too Furious, which was good. I like Too Fast, Furious. That's what brought Tyrese in. That's what brought a lot of different characters in that came in for the next set of movies. Um, then the third movie moved you on to a new area, whereas TJ said Han, so Tokyo Drift. Tokyo Drift does not get a lot of credit. It does gets a lot of flack. I think Tokyo Drift was amazing because it showed you a different form of street racing that exists in the world, drifting. And I love that story. So that was probably one of my favorite movies. And then the actual trilogy, like, because they after losing Vin Diesel, now Vin Diesel comes back. Technically, 4, 5, and 6 were the new trilogy. 4, 5, and 6, and then they decide, okay, we're gonna make a seventh, we're gonna make an eighth. And 4, 5, and 6 were good movies. And they kind of tied a lot in.
I think five's our favorite.
5 was the best to me, besides the first one, because the first one is the first one is the classic. This isn't one of those where they're all no. First one was the classic because this did an up and down thing. But the fifth one was awesome in Brazil. Solid in Brazil. Still kept a lot of the street racing. It was there was a lot of believable stuff that happened. Okay, driving a freaking huge safe down the middle of the highway was a little but I deal with that. I can go with it.
Heidi's laughing right now because we were both laughing at the safe chase, and you could hear us laughing maniacally the whole time.
I think
It was so
the
much
safe
fun.
one was
So much fun.
But overall, the franchise, and it's about to get its last two movies, part 1 and part 2 of movie 10.
Movie 10.
Which is they've done this for Paul Walker. May he rest in peace, Paul Walker.
Yes.
Great person, great actor, action actor. He's done a lot of movies that you didn't even think about, a lot of B movies and things like that. Yeah. So overall, do I love the franchise? Heck yes, because I wouldn't go back and watch movies if I didn't like it.
Same.
So on my all-time favorite franchise list, it's probably in my top 20. On my action list, it's definitely in my top 10. So that's where it goes on the list.
Yeah, I was gonna say for me, lower 10. Lower 10. Just and yeah, I echo your thoughts on the late Paul Walker. His his chemistry with Dom, that brotherhood that built up, is what we both loved about it. And I love the continuation where the kids are being, the kid was named after Brian, and they're trying to honor Paul, and at the same time honor the O'Connor character. So
And is he coming? And they're supposedly coming back.
I was gonna say they confirmed that Cody is in the cast again.
So it's gonna be interesting to see
So
how this is. This is gonna be a very emotional. I think it's gonna be a very emotional movie.
Heidi's
And
my theory is they will likely kill him. It's got to be something that's going to
happen fast. Yeah.
drive the end game between Dom and Cypher, and that and all that
Yeah.
that stuff.
Oh yeah, her killing off the Brazilian chick that he was with.
Yeah.
That was one of the saddest moments in movie 8.
It was,
That
yeah.
happened in movie 8.
Yeah, the last appearance of The Rock in the franchise.
Yep.
So yeah, I
So there
don't
we
know.
go.
Do we want to go into?
So real quick, we're not gonna spend a lot of time. We said we mentioned Transformers because Transformers Beast Wars is coming.
Oh yes.
Now Transformers is taking a lot of flack as well. I know with
Well-
anybody that's a huge fan of Transformers cartoons
Well deserved flack. Well deserved flack.
I've never really had an issue with the franchise other than I'm not happy that Beast Wars is going to be with humans. I'd rather see Beast Wars on a planet and kind of like cartoon. Like I was a huge fan of the cartoon Beast Wars.
Say.
I'd rather there be no fucking humans in this movie. If they're gonna bring humans back, I would have loved to see Shia LaBeouf come back. I'm not gonna lie, I miss Shia.
He was a great
I
part
miss
of the
Shia.
early movies.
The first 3 movies was really, really good to me. I liked the first 3 movies. It was really good storytelling, good introduction of a lot of different bots. Movie 4 and 5 were interesting. I liked when Optimus Prime was kind of under a spell, kind of a thing, and he was evil. But yes, the Transformers franchise has definitely had its ups and downs.
Very much
So overall, in my franchise / trilogy list, again, it's probably in my top 20, 25. And then in my action list, it's probably in like top 20. Top 20.
The Transformers franchise.
Where do you put that in yours, huh?
It's not even in the list.
Okay, it's not even on the list. All right. Well, that moves that one on quickly.
Yeah. I just no. Although I will agree with you that Shia's acting in the series was very good, but great actors just can't save a shit franchise. I think we've discovered that a few franchises.
We've already found that. Yeah.
But yes, I'm sorry, and I'm a huge early 80s Transformers fan. Beast Wars huge fanatic. So I'm glad that Beast Wars is seeing the light of day. But I was just like, no.
So the next 2 franchise, we're going to do this again too quick because we don't want to. We're boasting over an hour. We'll try to not go more than an hour and a half on this show tonight. Because like you said, there's so many franchises. We'll have to do a quick list of movies that we didn't get to mention where they're great.
Yeah, absolutely.
But 2 more movies. One, because it is coming out with the final one with Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones franchise, and also a franchise I'm a huge fan of because if you haven't noticed, I'm a huge Disney World fan, Universal fan. I love going to those theme parks. Not that I get to go every year. I wish I was one of those people that had the money to go every year. I don't get to, but I'm a huge fan of Disney and stuff like that. So one of my favorite franchises of all time. I love Pirates. Now, has that franchise done a little dip here and there? Yeah, there's things about the movies that could have been better.
Oh, absolutely.
But I'm still a huge fan of Pirates movie. The thing that I'm upset about, damn you, Disney. Damn you for trusting that you see this might get a little real quick. Disney, because you decided not to wait for a court case, you dishonored a man, and now the man will not come back and do the closing that he wanted to do for all the fans. He has an idea for Jack Sparrow to say goodbye because we did not get that proper goodbye in movie 5. We did not get it. I hope I know a lot of us fans of the Pirates franchise are hoping that Johnny Depp will just say, you know what, Disney, I'll come back and do it, but I'm not doing it for you. Now there is Johnny Depp supposedly has walked away from Hollywood, which is fine. Walk away from Hollywood, Johnny, but here's just an outspoken Johnny. Please come back and just make the last Pirates movie, please, please. One more, just one, because the Pirates movies. I am so glad they canceled the Margot Robbie one. Thank you. Thank you for canceling the Margot Robbie. Thank you.
I'm a Margot fan, but no.
Oh, don't reboot it. Don't try to no. So my theory, real quick, I'll get through Pirates. First three, I love them. The third one, they made the second and third one together, so they came out consecutively in 1 year. Um, the first one, of course, is the classic. Um, the story of all the first three were really good. The third one,
Yes.
the only thing, like me and my brother and I talked about, really, you turn the voodoo lady into a bunch of crabs, really, really. We built up to that, really. Just a bunch of crabs just fall into the water. Really? That was probably the worst part of that whole movie was her turning into a bunch of crabs. That could Disney, you could have thought a little bit better about that. But movie 4,
Fuel for every joke that could
yeah,
possibly be.
yeah, crabs. She's got crabs. Movie 4, I was so happy they introduced Blackbeard, and the guy they picked to play Blackbeard was awesome.
Great choice. Great choice.
The issue with that character, the first part of the movie was great. He was evil. He killed the guy in the boat, burnt him alive in the boat. I love the beard, like being on smoking. Thought that was awesome. When they started making him soft halfway through the movie,
Yes.
no, no, Blackbeard is not soft. No,
No, Blackbeard is an evil
he's
SOB.
an SOB. But overall, I love that movie with the Fountain of Youth and
Yes.
the whole arc in that story. Movie 5 was probably the scariest villain of all time in the franchise.
Movie 5 was impressively solid.
But here's the problem: movie 5. Why'd they have to copy? Why'd they have to copy Fast 5
Oh. Yeah.
with horses? Really? You really gonna drive a bank, a safe around the city with horses? Really? Really? And that happened right after Fast 5 came out.
Yep.
Really? Movie 5 had a lot of movie 5. What problem with movie 5 was you had this great story. Think about Find the Triton to end the curse for Orlando Bloom's character.
Yes.
And then you control the seas. And then that character, the evil character, Salazar. Great villain. Good story. But you pulled a lot of dumb choices in that movie. And it's one of the films that I actually don't like. I just watched it not too long ago and love it. And of course, the story of Barbosa and his daughter and that whole thing.
And that awesome scene at the end that reunited, that brought back.
Oh,
Kira.
yes. And then all of a sudden, some walks in the room, tentacles, and you're like, oh, but now are we ever going to get it? Probably not. So we get left just hanging.
I was gonna say, before we move on to
Indy.
another great franchise, I will say I agree with you. I hope Johnny does consider
Please, Johnny.
the final return. Let this be the end to the series that he wanted, that we all want.
But Disney needs to let him do what he wants to do, because he already has it written down what he wants that character to do, Jack Sparrow. The only way they're going to, I think, get him back is like, you know what, Johnny, this is your film. Do whatever the hell you want to do.
It's been confirmed Bruckheimer has met with him, and Johnny is talking about it.
He likes Bruckheimer, though. That's why.
Exactly. So I'm thinking, if God willing, if Bruckheimer gets him to the table,
and fans keep pushing because they had the petition go around for Disney to bring him back,
then he might give us that finale that we all absolutely want.
But overall, I'm biased, so I'm a huge Pirates fan.
Same.
Action wise, it's definitely in my top 10. I can't put it in the top. I'd be biased to put it in my top, but I can't because it does have flaws. It has a lot of flaws that should have been better. Many flaws. So it's in my top 10, which is great. And in my top franchises of all time, it's probably in my top 20.
Same. I would actually match.
So Pirates, I'm always gonna be a Pirates fan, hands down. And let's just hope Johnny Depp gets the proper goodbye with it, because 5 was just.
I would gladly go see
5 was a good movie. Not the ending we're looking for.
No, and I don't think it was. It was never.
It was never meant to be the ending.
Yeah,
no, and it wasn't meant to be the ending. So that's the problem. They need to do. It needs the franchise needs a closing, and movie. Like I said, 6 movies needs to close it.
Agreed, though.
All right, moving on. Another movie that's coming out this year to close off a legend.
Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. We're yes,
So that'd be 5 movies total.
5, yes.
5 total.
5 with Harrison if they decide to reboot it.
Uh-oh, we had a freeze on the StreamYard.
Um, it it'll record like it'll return. But
Yeah.
we still got this, so
Right.
maybe I can do
So
that.
Indiana Jones.
Yes.
My memory is very growing up, I was a huge fan of Indiana. I'd run around the house with a hat on and a rope and act like I'm Indy. As a kid, I can't remember all the ins and outs of all the movies because it's been definitely a long time since I've watched them. But of course, my favorite one of all time, Temple of Doom. Kalima. I used to do that to my nephew all the time when he was little. He'd freak out. He'd be like, "No, no, no, no!" I'd be like, "Kalima."
You betrayed Shiva.
That's probably my favorite film of all time.
I cannot believe I remember that.
Yeah, that's a long time.
That was one of the greatest scenes ever. Was him versus Kali, like Molaram fighting for like to be able to climb up the rest of that bridge. It was insane.
True.
Um,
Quick joke about Indiana Jones. Okay, if you've ever watched Big Bang Theory, one of my favorite TV shows of all time.
my parents actually love Big Bang.
There is an episode where they talk about Indiana Jones. And they go see the because they always used to go see like the characters would go watch like all the different like re-releases and things like that. And one of the jokes that Amy Farrah Fowler makes about Indy, she sits and watches it with Sheldon, and he goes, "So what'd you think? It's the greatest movie of all time, right?" And she goes, "It's okay." He goes, "What?" She goes, "Well, in all reality, all the stuff in the arc would have happened without Indy even being in the movie." And then all the characters go and watch. They're like, "Well, no, they would have not made it here if Indy." No, but if they still would have done it. And then they were all like, "Aw." So technically,
Yep.
Amy makes a good point. The first movie, Indiana Jones, everything would have happened even with Indiana Jones, not in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's good that you mentioned it too, because now the young actor who plays Short Round
Oh my God, yeah,
is having
yeah,
a serious comeback.
yeah.
With that everything everywhere all at once, and he's winning awards. Like he's up for the best supporting tonight at tonight's
Oh, that's awesome.
Oscars.
That's awesome.
I hope he gets it, but um,
I'm sorry to say I don't like award shows anymore. He does deserve it though.
yes, because it's so cool because he had to step away from the limelight, and kind of get to a point where he had more opportunities. And Indy was his first opportunity. Spielberg cast him perfectly. And his chemistry with Harrison in Temple of Doom is what made Temple
Yep.
probably what, like, if not the best. I would tie it with Last Crusade as best of the franchise. Just because I love the dynamic between Harrison and Sean Connery, the father son, and the again emotional resonance and
Mhm.
the relationships. I would absolutely.
He hates snakes. I'm a lot like Indy. Why does there have to be snakes? See, me and Indiana Jones are a lot alike. You're right.
I love the fact that
So
he's saying that in front of the very person who got him at best
she did.
multiple times with a snake.
So I put Indy as a whole, and I'm looking forward to this last movie, Harrison Ford saying goodbye to the character. And it's gonna be a good goodbye. I think I'm looking really forward to it.
The trailer looks freaking amazing.
It looks awesome. Original people are coming back, so I think it's gonna be really good.
Yeah, Harrison and John Rhys Davies as Indian Solid.
Even with
That made my day.
what is it, Crystal Skull?
Yeah,
The last one
Kingdom
they
of the
did with
Crystal
Shia
Skull.
LaBeouf. I think the movie was good. Was it great? No, but it was good. It was cool, additive. Shia LaBeouf did a great job. I know Shia LaBeouf takes a lot of heat, but I like Shia LaBeouf.
He didn't deserve to. He put some
I know he put
serious
some effort in that because
into.
It looked like he was going to take over He was going to take over the franchise. I think but the movie didn't do so
It
well.
was in that idea. Yes, that was in the wheelhouse.
I would definitely put Indiana Jones action wise. I'm probably going to put in top 20. Probably top 20. And the franchises, It's gonna be farther. I mean, it's good. I love Indiana Jones, but it's not in my. It's definitely not my top 20. My top 30. Number 2 movie.
Number 2,
Wow. Like all time.
all time.
Doesn't matter. We're just putting it in franchise trilogy history. It's in your all. All right.
Yeah.
I give it. Hey, Indy took his top 2. Good for you, Indiana Jones. Good for you.
Indy was one of the very first franchises, well, at the time when I was exposed to it. Last Crusade had not been made, and I was exposed to it as a kid, as a little kid. So I got to be there when Last Crusade really hit its high note. And as a kid, I was very much impacted by this, trilogy and now, of course, franchise. So,
It's probably my top 20. I'm sorry, I said top 30, top 20.
so for me, it will always deserve
No,
at least my
it
personal,
deserves
my top
recognition.
five.
Yeah, no, that's great. It definitely and don't it definitely deserves all the recognition it gets. I was a huge fan. Like I said, I dressed up as Indiana House and did all kinds of stuff. Definitely, but there's been so many great movies that have come out since then, and there's a lot of movies that have overtaken it for me. So it's a hard one. Back to the Future, is in my top, probably my top 2.
Yeah.
Nobody's beating that out for me. And I said Harry was my top 1, but I'm actually changing that. Harry's probably my top 3 in the third spot. About to tell you my top 1.
All right. This is probably where we should, because I definitely want to go into the quick Six Flags news
Yeah.
before we have to end this.
So we're gonna do some quick ones, real quick.
So
We'll do our last one that where we'll put it, and then we'll do like quick honorable mentions.
Yeah,
Really
we
quick.
won't go into why they're honorable
Yeah.
mentions, but we will just list them.
Maybe we'll do a part 2 of
Yeah,
franchise
yeah.
and movie. We'll do a part 2.
We'll do a part 2.
But we'll mention some honorable mentions that we'll bring up in the next one. But so my final one that I'm gonna damn, there's 2 of them I would have loved to say. All right, I'm gonna say 2. Do you mind if I say 2?
Please,
2.
please.
Okay. And not trilogy. I'm saying franchise because it is a franchise now. There were 6 movies made. So here's the first move franchise: Jurassic Park franchise and the Rocky franchise.
You reached part Jurassic Park and Rocky. Those franchises are in my top 10.
Rocky is it's hard. I'm trying to put where I'm putting Jurassic franchise and that. Rocky's probably number 1 for me of all time.
Mm.
And the Jurassic franchise is probably number 5 of all time.
I would say for me, it would be.
And by franchise, I mean all 6.
I was gonna say, yeah,
not just Jurassic 1, 2, and 3.
because
Jurassic World is also part of that because I think all 3 of them were really, really good.
Yeah. Heidi and I love Dominion.
They tell you to forget Jurassic. They do tell you to forget Jurassic Park 2 and 3. Yes, were they great movies? They weren't fantastic, but they were good movies. Jurassic World definitely brought them out of the darkness. So there you go, Rocky. And by I mean Rocky, I mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kind of sucked. Not kind of did suck. But Rocky Balboa.
That one hits you.
That is because you know why Rocky Balboa is took over being like the number 1 movie out of the whole franchise because it was so good. The storytelling was so good. And the quote that everybody knows, the monologue that he tells his son when his son tries to yell at him, it is a quote that has actually helped me get through a lot of shit in the last 14 years of my life.
About not how hard you get,
how you get hit and get back up.
Yep.
Best,
solid. Yeah.
Probably one of the best movie line. It's not even a quote. It's a full monologue. Hands down.
And a decent philosophy.
And even I'll throw the 2 Creed movies in the franchise. I know Creed 3, Rocky was not in. There was a little fallout on that one. But Rocky's up. He said he would come back to do a Creed 4 as long as him and Michael B. Jordan are planning the script.
Yes,
this one had a bit of a little fall out, so that's why Rocky's not going to be in it. But yeah, Rocky to me, I've watched those movies. I love those movies.
I'm with you.
Oh my god, the storytelling, the way it starts out, the guy you never think is going to make, he's just some street boxer, fights Apollo Creed. doesn't win the match at the end, but wins the crowd and shows that he can stand with the best. Comes back in movie 2, beats Apollo Creed. Then he's, now he's got all these boxing matches. He doesn't know that he's being, as they do to boxers nowadays, they protect them.
Puffed, yeah.
They fights good people, but they're not great.
They were fluff matches.
And then Clubber Lang, and of course Mickey dying.
Oh, yeah. Rest in peace,
Nick.
the amazing Burgess Meredith.
Oh, but then Rocky 4. One of my favorite ones out of the franchise.
Did you get a chance to see Rocky versus Drago, the director's cut of Rocky 4?
I don't know if I saw that one. No, I gotta watch that.
I want to watch it myself. They just released the Rocky 1 through 4 on 4K, which includes the director's cut. I want to get that.
We'll have to watch that. So yeah, Rocky lands at number 1 for me of all time. Ooh. And Jurassic, I've always been a fan of dinosaurs since I was a little boy. And that was because I always read the Dinotopia books. I've always dreamed about living with dinosaurs. I'd be fine with it. T-Rex just running around, raptors. I love them. Especially Jurassic Park. I got to tell a quick story. Jurassic Park 1. I remember seeing it at a drive-in. You know how scary that was at a drive-in when T-Rex and no lie,
terrifying.
We had wind. I remember this. When it came out, we were at the drive-in. I remember wind was blowing and the trees moved. And at that exact same moment is when the T-Rex came out through the trees.
The drip
on the screen.
Cup. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when they did the 20th anniversary, right? 20th anniversary back mid 2010s, I think it was 2015 or whatever it was.
The re-release, yeah.
The re-release, I was like, I got to go see this in theaters. I got to go back and see it. So I did. And the theater was sold out. And I'm sitting there watching this movie and I'm looking around the theater and it's now a new generation of little kids that were my age when I saw it. 6, 7, 8. I had this father and a son sitting next to me. Same moment when the T-Rex, he jumps on his father's lap. I remember I had that reaction too, watching it at the drive-in. It was such a magical moment to see it so many years later and seeing these kids getting to have the same reaction as we did. It's timeless. Timeless, classic, hands down. 2 of the greatest franchises, Rocky and then Jurassic. Of course, Jurassic World, I love them. So I'm not going to go in depth about them, but where do you put them on your list?
6 and 7. Because, and which, by the way, anything that made my top 10, I don't like rankings so much because I think anything from 1 to 10 was just equally as impacted. But I will say there are my final 2.
Okay, let me see your final 2.
Which would be 1 and 5 for me.
Okay.
So number 5, of course, I will put, and it is technically a franchise because it's over 4. It's 4 movies, and they're trying to gun for number 5. Lethal Weapon.
Oh, you're a Lethal Weapon fan.
I am. I loved that buddy cop movie. I love the dynamic between Gibson and Glover, and then the ensemble part of it when 3 and 4 kind of brought like Rene Russo and Joe Pesci, further into, further into the mix. The late great, Richard Donner did a solid job directing all 4 movies, and he would have done number 5, but I think Gibson now has to take that over because of I believe I'm right, and if I'm wrong, please correct me. Because of I believe we did lose Richard Donner, but I could be wrong. It would be great. Like if somebody, if this is wrong, please by all means correct, because I'm trying to remember. That might have been a few years ago. Plus, Richard Donner, with the Goonies, I was already a fan of his work because like the Goonies and Superman. So, Lethal Weapon was
Superman
just
franchise.
I was gonna say when we do part 2,
that would be we'll talk about that. Yeah, honorable mention.
Yes, definitely honorable mention. Number 1 of my greatest franchises of all time. Just because before it became a franchise, I would have absolutely said it was the greatest trilogy of all time. Is of course Star Wars.
It's a big one we didn't. I was going to talk. That's one that's got to be talked about longer because That's definitely one we got to bring up. Definitely in the
Yes.
next video.
Next video we will
We'll
go
focus
into
on
more.
We'll go into Star Wars because there's a lot to go about Star Wars with.
We could probably do our like maybe the next vidcast. We'll just kind of like we'll do an hour. We'll devote it to Star Wars.
We could do a Star Wars cast,
but a very brief. The original classic trilogy
true. 4, 5, and 6
impacted how I felt about movies and how I felt about actors and actresses and how these stories could be told. I had the absolute utmost respect for George Lucas, and everything that those classic 3 accomplished. And I will be the first to tell you that there are a lot of moments, and again, we'll go further, but
yeah,
where I felt that the sequel trilogy was equal parts entertaining, equal parts dumpster fire.
yeah. That's been the census on
The prequel trilogy,
I like prequel trilogy.
I will absolutely sing praises for because the prequel trilogy was my first theater trilogy.
Right, we were old enough to see that. Yeah,
Exactly.
it's the final 3 that were in the woke culture. Sorry, I'm gonna say it.
Yeah,
Woke culture.
and I absolutely want us to go into that. So next one of the next vidcasts we will do Star
Star
Wars.
Wars, yeah. And we're gonna talk more about some other movies.
Yeah.
Honorable mentions, real quick, that you might hear. You're definitely gonna hear in the next one because a big trilogy of mine, probably possibly of yours, Dark Knight trilogy,
Yes,
Batman.
Nolan's trilogy.
We have some comedies like the Austin Powers
Oh, we
trilogy,
definitely got
Scary Movie franchise, the Mummy franchise. But here's what I'm thinking: the Mummy is kind of like horror. So I'm thinking we get closer to Halloween. This we might save. I think suspense thrillers and horror movies. We're gonna do its own, like where they lie in our favorite. Because I can't really put them in like my all time favorite franchise. Maybe
No.
one, but that deserves its own thing. So that's gonna come. I think a Halloween one that has all the different Halloween, all the different suspense. Because I have mine. Saw the Halloween movies.
I need a guy.
I think we should do a draft where we put them on a list and see they battle out to get to the number one
Why
spot.
not? And maybe we can include like
The Purge movies.
we can include some people and have them poll and see where
Yes.
their votes match up to where we rank it.
So yeah, that's just some. This Saw the Spider-Man trilogy. I'm not talking to Twilight. That sucks. Hunger Games. James Bond. I didn't get to see all of them.
Okay, Bond.
Bond is really good,
Yes.
and I didn't really watch all those. But there's a lot. X-Men.
I'm glad.
Of course, there's superhero ones.
I'm glad we put Mission Impossible in the honorable mentions because I do like those.
My number one might change because the MCU from 2008 to 2018, 2019 was
Getting solid.
I'm stopping the MCU between 2008 and 2019. That franchise, starting with Iron Man, leading up to Endgame. That's definitely the number one action. I'm sorry, number one action right there. We'll talk more about that next time though.
I would love to and well, you know what? For those of you who might watch this on archive and you're not watching us live, let us know your thoughts. I would love to do our next couple of vidcasts. We'll do one of them for Star Wars, just devoted to what we liked about the films and what we like about what's being aired on Disney Plus now.
Yes.
And another one devoted to the MCU.
Yes, most definitely.
If you guys want to see those, we will set those franchises aside. We won't even put them in the honorable mention section. We'll just give them their own episodes. But we will do a part 2 with other honorable mentions and talk about those. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and we will absolutely. Those sound already like good vidcast ideas. So
all right.
Other vidcast episodes coming.
From. We'll start doing them more often, because I know we went on a big break. There was a lot that's happened over the last couple months. So, but for moving on from that, so it's a good tonight with the movies we talked about, franchise we talked about. Go check them all out. If you haven't seen them, go check them out. If that's something it's not something you think you would like look at this guy. Look at how long it took him to see the John Wick franchise trilogy.
Solid. No, solid.
Sheesh.
That's fair.
Um,
That's totally fair.
So now, quick updates before we end the show, and for all of you that are joining us from to the Nerd and Bag and from the J World family, especially on my channel, if you're new here, subscribe, hit that notification bell, give the video a big thumbs up because it does help support this channel. And same thing, help support to the Nerd and Bag again, and come join over here as well to the J World family. And with that being said,
Couldn't have said it better.
real quick, we'll do this, take like 5-10 minutes real quick. So Six Flags season is in a full effect. Of course, southern parks, a lot of them are already open all year.
Yeah.
Some parks do close down. They are opening up now. Big update, New England will be opening, I believe. Let me get on there. I believe first weekend of April is what I heard. Go right ahead.
Step away from camera for 1 minute, but I will be right back.
Let me go to April. So Six Flags New England will be opening Friday, April 7th at 11 a.m. And staying will stay up to 7 p.m. I will definitely be going to that park that weekend. I'm checking things out, seeing how things are going. Because the following week is spring break, so they're going to be open all spring again. I am not going to show up during spring break because I know that park's going to be packed. So I will definitely show up there opening weekend. Because my weekends come May will then be very strict because my place that I work, Alpine Lake, will be opening up the resort, and then I have to work Saturdays, so I won't be able to go to theme parks. I don't like going to theme parks on Saturdays anyway, so it doesn't really affect me. But that's big news. If you want to go to Six Flags New England, they open up April 7th, and then Six Flags New Jersey, Six Flags Great Adventure in New Jersey, will be opening up. April 1st. So go check them out. I know I promised last season I would go to Jersey. I never made it. I promise, hands down, I swear it, I will be making it to Six Flags New Jersey. I want to ride the Jersey Devil, which was their new coaster. I will be making it to Jersey. I will let you guys know when I'm going to go there. It'll definitely be over the summer because I want to be able to ride like their rapids and stuff like that. So I will definitely let you know soon. Now, I don't think Jersey's getting some new water park rides. New England is, I think they redid one of their kiddie rides, which was like a safari truck thing you get on. Well, now it's a dinosaur experience. They're gonna have animatronic dinosaurs. So I'm looking forward to taking I love dinosaurs, and she loves dinosaurs, so I'm looking forward to taking her to that. Then Six Flags Great Escape will be opening, I believe, Memorial Day weekend.
So that one is at least on the official page. I can announce that at least without getting into much trouble.
Oh, the weekend before it, Memorial Day.
I believe it is May 20th.
Yes,
so you have
right there.
the hours. So it looks like
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock in the morning till 6 p.m. at night. Anything other than that, unfortunately, right now, I cannot tell you because it hasn't been officially announced for shows or anything like that. Please keep an eye on the J World Family videos, and when they are posted, I will at least say, "Hey, go check out the website," so you can check out what is updated is in regards to entertainment. But official opening day will be May 20th.
Six Flags Laron, which is in Montreal, they have not posted any hours yet, but I know they probably will open up in May or June. And then Darien Lake, which is out towards Buffalo, for New York, which I went to that park last year. I will not be going back out there. I wanted to ride Moose on the Loose. Wasn't open when I went. Very upset. I might make it back out there. I don't know, but probably not this summer. But their park is going to be opening up. Let me see real quick. May 20th as well. They'll be opening up at 11 a.m. So big news. A lot of your parks in the Northeast are now opening. Now the thing about the passes this year, I'm going to go to Six Flags New England because that's the one I'm probably going to buy it through, because when you buy an annual pass for a home park, you can't start your annual pass until you go to that home park. So, like, if I were to buy one, since Great Escape is my closer park, yes, if I were to buy one for that, if I go to New England first, technically they can't activate my pass. What they would do is I'd have to talk to them. They'd have to give me a free pass to get in for the day, which is a pain in the padded ass. So what I'm going to do, just to save hassle, I will buy my annual pass through New England as my home park. and I'll explain what the prices for New England and Great Escape
Time machine.
Time machine. You can buy single day passes online at this point for $40, starting at $40 because they change on days. The prices range, especially on weekends. As for their season passes, a gold pass is going for $59.99. You can make low payments. Like if you can't pay it all at once, they do a payment plan. Your first payment would be $20.04, and after that, $7.99 a month. With that pass is your general parking, unlimited visits to Six Flags New England. It's the same thing for Great Escape. You get unlimited visits to Great Escape, or if you bought one through Great Escape for that park. You get a 5% food and merchandise discount, limited visits to that park only. You don't get to go to any other park with that season pass for the gold pass. Platinum pass is $74.99. If you decide to get it and you want to make monthly payments, if you don't have the money to pay it off at once, $21.05 initial payment. Then after that, it's $8.99 a month for that. And this includes, now the Platinum Pass includes entry to the water park. The Gold Pass does not include entry to Six Flags New England's water park, which is inside the theme park anyway. Something greatest Six Flags decided to change up last year. You get general parking, unlimited visits to Six Flags New England, 15% off of merchandise and discounts, unlimited visits all of 2023 to only Six Flags New England, and unlimited visits to Hurricane Harbor. You get one skip the line and two specially rate Friends tickets for whenever you want to use them. Now, I know for the Great Escape one, if you make that your home park, if you buy the Platinum Pass, you actually get to visit Great Escape, New England, and Laron. So New England's kind of screwing you on that pass, where if you buy it through Great Escape as your home park, you actually still get to visit those three parks with that pass. Just so you know, there's a little bit of a difference. Now, the top pass, the Diamond Pass for 2023 is going for $149.99. If you can't make the initial payment, it's $54.07 for your first payment. And then after that, it's $11.99 a month to pay it off. For that, you get preferred parking. Love preferred parking. Unlimited visit to Six Flags New England, 20% off of food and merchandise, unlimited visits for all 2023, unlimited visits to Hurricane Harbor, 4 skip the line passes, 5 specialty rate Friends tickets, a 2023 seasonal drink cup, 50% off weekday cabana discounts. That's pretty cool. 50% off a season, the season flash pass if you decide to buy a season long flash pass, which is absolutely ridiculous. It's already like 300. I think it's like $300.
Yeah.
So, priority entry to the water park and the regular park. And this one, you get to visit any Six Flags that they own. Now, the only thing I don't know about this pass, and I have to call and ask, and this is what will determine. I'm probably still going to do the New England one for the 4 skip the lines, for the 50% weekday cabana discounts, and the flash pass. I need to find out, is that only eligible at New England, or can I use that at any park? Because I would love to be able to buy a cabana. I've always wanted to do it at Great Escape. Would love to buy a cabana. Now, Great Escape, I don't believe they're not charging any entry into their water park. I've read the pass. I don't think they're charging any entry. They are doing where they have special seating areas that are nicer seating, and you pay to rent a seat in that area, which is like, I think $10 or $15. They might have upped it. I don't know. But they also have seats you can sit in. So Great Escape is not charging you separate entry as much as I right now, not charging you an extra entry. Thank you, Great Escape, for telling Six Flags to put that somewhere. Um, there. Yeah. Well, it'd be kind of hard for Six Flags Great Escape to do it because unlike New England, New England's water park is literally you have to get it. There's only one way in and one way out. Great Escape's water park, there's many entries.
That broke me, pun intended.
Pun intended. There you go. You have to actually walk through the water park to get to the Comet and to one other ride in the back. So they really can't charge you to get into the water park separately because they'd have to have somebody stand by the water park entrances, and there's like 4 of them. They'd have to staff that. They don't have this. So I think that's another reason why they're not doing it. So there you go. That's the passes. Now, depending on the park you do, I know New Jersey, that Diamond Pass is more. I think it's more like $20. So just know, depending on the Six Flags, that pass may be a little bit more depending on your home park. But I know I will be buying the Diamond Pass because, of course, I go to Six Flags Great Escape. I go to New England. This year, I am going to go to Jersey. I also would love to go, possibly. I went to this park before Six Flags bought it, Laron over in Quebec. I would love to go back now that I'm older. I also would like to get down to Maryland this year. I've never been to the park in Maryland. That's another one I'm thinking
That
about.
would be one Heidi and I absolutely
Yeah,
want to go to
Heidi and TJ would
because
love to go there. I don't know if it'll happen. We'll try.
yeah, let's
Um,
keep everybody posted.
any other big updates you could think of for Six Flags theme park season? Just
Um,
Six Flags in general.
I do know that um there are improvements, additions for like entertainment and stuff in the works. It's always in the works. We like to try and bring a lot of newer things to the table
Mhm.
with with new folks and familiar faces. Um, that's as much as I
That's
can
fine.
say at the
Not ask you
current
to
moment.
detail. That's stuff we want to find
Um,
out.
but what I can say is I'm absolutely looking forward to I we just did our rehire event. And that's something I can say publicly, and I can announce that I am 1000% back in an official capacity with Six Flags Great Escape Entertainment. Um, and I couldn't be more impatient and happier for it. And I do appreciate getting a chance once again for my 5th year
Awesome.
to be a however much of a part of
Yeah.
people's day and their trip to the park.
Well,
So
I'm
looking
looking
forward
forward
to
to
it.
my third season. I've been at Great Escape since I was a kid, but I'm looking forward as my third season YouTubing. We bring you guys content from different Six Flags Park, Great Escape New England, a couple other ones, and showing you guys updates. Of course, leading into the final part of the season, which will be Fright Fest season, Scare season, which is always a lot of fun.
Excited.
I'm gonna try definitely this year to do some challenges. I want to do like anniversary challenges, so like I might ride Sasquatch like all day long, see how many times I can ride it. Comet, like do an anniversary ride, see how many years it's been around. Maybe try to ride it in one day that many times. I don't know if my brain will be able to handle that all day, but I'll try. Um, and then some other oh god, planning, her Fright Fest demon eyes playing on me. Yay. Excited. No, I'm excited to I am going very, very soon. This is a promise. I am going very, very soon with my family. We're gonna go to the American Dream Mall, do a video from the theme park there. That mall is massive, so I know I will not. I might do a walk through the entire mall, but we're only be able to do the theme park, not the water park, and some of the other stuff they have there. But I'll definitely do a walk through that mall, that entertainment mall across from Jersey in the Meadowlands of Jersey, um, across from New York City. Also planning on going on a family trip because we have actually not done a family vacation since 2018
Mm.
to Disney. We're planning on going to Hershey, PA this year. I've been to Hershey, PA to the theme park since I was a little lad, when I was a little boy, like 7. So that's a little family trip that we're trying to plan for the 5 of us. Um, and then another adventure that like I said, I'm trying to do some new places. I'm going to try to do some other stuff. So please join me on other adventures, other small side road attractions and things like that. And pretty soon, promise you, I have merch coming. J World merch is coming. We're going to have shirts, hats, possibly phone cases, things like that. So look out for that very, very soon. And with that being said, I hope you guys really enjoyed tonight. I had fun with TJ. We're gonna do another. We're gonna do
Oh yeah.
more movie franchises and things like that. And with that being said, that's it from the J World family.
So very quickly, due to my broken wing here, um, I'm going to be out of my normal day job for a while. I'm hoping to go back. I have a follow-up on the 20th. I will keep everybody posted on my social medias about how that goes. Hopefully after the 20th, I can at least go to light duty over at the Grayscape Lodge, help Heidi out maybe at the kids club a little bit. Who knows? We're definitely hopeful for that. Um, so I will be doing more Twitch streams for the King's Gamer Plays, which I do kind of include in the same vein as to the Nerd and Back because video games are absolutely as much of a part of pop culture as anything else is. Um, so I will be doing my first more consistent stream on Tuesday, of which we are delving into the Resident Evil franchise. I'm starting with Resident Evil 0, and I'm looking to go all the way to the end of Village. Um, and then also I am currently in the process of playing Hogwarts Legacy, to do my very impartial uh, review of what I think of this new release that's supposed to give you a day in the life of going to Hogwarts. So uh, that that will definitely be in the pipe. I do have a few shows. I do have a couple of shows coming up for Elvis tribute. One's a private event that I'm doing at a assisted living home over in Bennington, Vermont.
Oh, very nice.
That is next month on the 12th. And then I'm also returning uh, in June 18th, to the Viaport Mall at Rotterdam, at the Little Vegas Wedding Chapel and Theater, to ring in my 40th birthday with a with a 2-hour performance of Elvis hits. So I will continue, as well as my wife will continue to post the flyer for that. So that's that update for things coming up. Do have merch available. We have t-shirts, limited amount right now because we have to get another batch. We have ball caps. We have some pictures, keychains, and do we still have that one snow globe left? Or did
Yeah.
that get sold? So we have one more TJ Green Elvis tribute snow globe that's left for sale. Um, so if anybody's interested in possibly purchasing anything like that and getting it shipped to them, or if you're local, just pick it up at your convenience. Let us know by either comment on here or DM if you're on my Facebook or social medias, and we can get that stuff out to you. Um, and then that also includes my self-made CD, which is called Green's Tribute to the King. It includes various songs from the movies, gospel, and live stage performances. And that is for sale. We are selling that for 20, right? What was the last?
CD?
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, we're gonna sell it for 10 now? Because I don't. Cool. So you heard it here. We are selling the CDs for $10 a piece. So if you want one, again, please let us know and we'll get that out to you. We might include a little bit for shipping, but that's all. Is just so it'll just cover the cost of shipping, but nothing more than that. If you're local, don't worry about the shipping. You can get it to you, or you can come and pick it up. Other than that, next to the Nerd and Backs, we'll let you know, it will be part 2, which will be our honorable mentions.
Mhm.
And then the next coming vidcasts will be the Star Wars and MCU themed vidcast episodes. So we're looking forward to that, and cannot wait to see everybody. Um, so please, if you I can speak the English language tonight. I promise you, it is my first language. You, by all rights, I should do like the Robin Williams joke. Hi, trick or trout. Um, oh, it's the Williams boy. Better give him some fish. Uh, we will let everybody know if you like what you saw with the vidcast. Please do a super huge solid. Share it. Let us know ideas of episodes you'd like to see. Um, as well, please head over to the J World Family YouTube channel. If you have not yet subscribed, subscribe. It is free to do so, and it does help his channel. Hit those thumbs up on the videos. We'll give them a watch. Get the notification bells for whenever anything continues to upload. Um, and that be sure to like and subscribe. Watch those J World videos. They are a huge part of the continued success of To the Nerd and Back, as well as very lucky continued appearances and semi guest starring roles in future J World videos, which might include a scare or two. You never
Hmm.
know. Um, and we cannot wait to bring another vidcast your way. We are so happy we got to do this for you tonight. Um, so that being said, I do want to end it how I kind of try to like to end it. Uh, be nice to each other, be safe, uh, make sure you are with the ones you love, or make sure to keep those that you care about as close by and make sure that they know it. But above all, be sure to have a lot of fun, live your best life, and come on back here next time, and we will take you to the nerd and back. We'll see you
Good
later.
night, everybody.